Welcome to This Week Health. My name is Bill Russell. I'm a former CIO for a 16 hospital system and creator of This Week Health, where we are dedicated to transforming healthcare one connection at a time. Today, we have an interview in action from the 2024 conferences, the spring conferences, ViVE in LA, HIMSS in Orlando. Special thanks to our sponsors, Quantum Health, Gordian, Dr. First, CDW, Gozio Health, Artisite, and Zscaler. You can check them out on our website, thisweekhealth.com. Now, on to our interview.
Welcome from ViVE 24 in Los Angeles. I'm super excited to be here today with Jason Swoboda, who is Director of Innovations at Tampa General Hospital. Jason, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks for inviting me to do this interview.
Great. So this is your first ViVE?
No, I've been here ever since the first one
in Miami. Ever since the first one?
Absolutely.
I love this. So year three then.
Year three.
What are you most looking forward to at this conference compared to years past?
Yeah, so I think we've got a lot of strategic imperatives that we have at Tampa General that I think are shared across other health systems. One of them is operational efficiency and provider burnout. So those are really top of mind. We're always looking to help improve quality outcomes. So these are some of the things that we're looking at for this one.
Burnout's a big topic for multiple organizations. When you think about your specific role, like you get to bring in innovation, are you looking specifically for net new ideas or improvements to things that already exist that are maybe more complementary in your total ecosystem?
I think what we do at Tampa General is a little different than other innovation departments. So I think there are some innovation departments that look for those incremental changes, but what we come to by looking for are either startups or mature companies that have a new product that they're trying to fill that white space. And so what we do at Tampa General with our innovation department is we look to partner with someone and help develop that product that fills that white space. So I'm looking for startups, I'm looking for mature companies that have a new product that we can take back, add a little bit of something and introduce it back into the health system. So those things like we talked about, the provider burnout, the efficiencies, of course, AI is on top of mind for everybody.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for companies that do that, but we're also looking for other solutions that kind of fill that space.
So you have a unique spot because you can actually give advice or ideas to some of these startups that you're curious and you think it's a great idea. You may not need it right now, but with your experience and the things that you know about, you can help them to also grow their brand while they're here as well.
That's exactly it. I think that's the piece that we bring to the innovation space that maybe some other innovation departments don't do. But yeah, we like to add that special sauce, if you will, and it just helps improve not only the healthcare system, but it also helps improve that product as well.
We're getting ready to kick the conference off tonight, so I can't wait to hear your perspective 2 days from now and say, after everything we talked about pre-conference, what does that look like post-conference? So it'd be great to follow up and find out how it achieved what you were looking for and how even more came into fruition for you and these organizations.
That'd be great. Every ViVE conference that I have, I've always left with a lot of great contacts, a lot of great ideas, and so.
The most important question I hope that anybody asks you all day is this one.
Oh, what is it?
If you could have any fictional character as your life coach, who would it be?
Oh, that's a good one. I'm going to go with Ted Lasso. I mean, who wouldn't want to have Ted Lasso? I mean, just believe,
love that.
Right? Yeah.
That's so much smarter. I'm thinking like Scooby-Doo. So you brought it to a whole nother level, and not for you, but for me. So Ted Lasso, that sounds amazing.
I mean, the Mystery Machine would be pretty cool.
But I have this thing, maybe Shaggy, but I don't think they had big life goals. Whereas Ted, like, he led Richmond all the way to the championship.
That's right. That's
all right. Thanks so much. Great to see you. Be well.
You bet.
Hey, I'm Drex DeFord. We're at ViVE 2024, another interview in action. One of my previously best friends at work, Todd Felker from Crowdstrike. How you doing, man?
Awesome. Good to see you, buddy. Thanks
see
for
you
coming
too.
by the booth.
Oh, no. I mean, look, obviously, I will forever have a crush on the products and the services and the stuff that you guys do.
Yeah.
I'm still having a hard time shifting away from saying we, because I still think of myself as a Crowdstriker in a lot of ways. But
once a Crowdstriker, always a Crowdstriker.
That's what they say. And I just came by to like, what's going on? What's top of mind? What are you hearing? What's all this stuff? I know you're involved in a lot of intel, a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
This has been a crazy week. What's going on?
So one of the things that's top of mind right now is the Change Healthcare,
Right.
Optum, like kind of the pharmacy interruptions that were going on. What Carter Broom was quoted in the Wall Street Journal as saying is that this is like healthcare's version of the colonial pipeline.
Yeah.
Right? Except it's like maybe even bigger than that because it's national.
Yeah.
I've heard that every single military pharmacy is down right now.
Yeah.
Like, this is a big deal.
But it's interesting too, because we talk about third party risk management all the time. And the reality that change is in many ways a collection of other companies that have been acquired over time. A lot of health systems didn't really even understand their exposure because the internal colloquial language in the health system was they would call it something else and not necessarily change. And so when this happened and a lot of things started breaking, and they couldn't do insurance checks, and there's so many components that can be in a health system, it really got complicated fast.
Do you remember, like, when you were at some of your health systems, ever looking at the map of your EMR? Just what the spider web, the spaghetti that was? Like, I feel like it's like that because now all these health systems are sharing data externally, and you've got all of your pharmaceutical, your pots and everything, and you're sharing this data, and there's feeds coming from like all over, it seems like.
Sometimes it's not just that you have changed healthcare products and it's impacting you because of that, but it also can be because your third parties have changed healthcare products and it's impacting them now.
It's downstream.
It is.
Like, it was like the spaghetti cake.
What else is going on? New threat report came out. How is it?
What's really amazing to me is everything's happening faster. And you know what? I think this Change Healthcare was a perfect example of that. Zero Day was announced Monday. A proof of concept of the exploit came out Tuesday. And bam, a major service provider went down on Wednesday. So I'm sitting here looking at this and going, we had in our threat report that the time for lateral movement dropped to 62 minutes as the average. The average. So, and a year ago it was 84. So that's a significant drop. And we know the fastest is just over 2 minutes. So it's really compelling to me that I almost feel like when the 0 day comes out, are we at the point where you just need to disconnect whatever it is that has a really compelling 0 day and deal with it later because you can't move fast enough to get something patched or to wait for it patched?
I mean, I wonder about that too. And one of the things that you and I have talked about many times is that when the 0 day is announced, the vulnerability is found, then there's really a race that begins. And in that particular case, the vendor with the product that had the vulnerability, they start working toward how do I build the patch or how do I update the software so the vulnerability is no longer there. And at the same time, the bad guys start the race of how do I weaponize that vulnerability? And the guy across the finish line first, today often turns out to be the bad guy.
And especially if you have like change control procedures and you want to test, you can't even really do that anymore. There's not enough time.
So true. And then the impact, this also then skews right into business continuity. The impact of sometimes you have to take things offline because you have to protect the organization. Sometimes you take things offline to patch them. Either way, there's probably going to be some downtime involved. And if it's not downtime for you, it's going to be downtime for a third party who's also doing that kind of work. We got to get those business continuity plans in place. Think about the risk to the organization. Do the math around that. Make sure that we're...
And meanwhile, inside these organizations, if they're relying on a third party for processing pharmacy claims, and the pharmacy's on paper right now, the pharmacy reconnect.
There's a lot of pressure.
Who's going to make that decision?
That's right.
Within the organization. And our organization's testing, making these decisions and deciding when is it safe to reconnect, right?
I talked about that in the 2.5 minute drill maybe 2 weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, about the pressure that I knew and we know. I mean, this isn't like just a thing that we have all lived with. That when we disconnect, because of a cybersecurity incident, the pressure immediately starts. I'm talking to my guys on the other side. They say they're okay. Can we reconnect? What's your process going to be? What is the flight plan to say, I need these kinds of documents, and then we'll allow reconnection? And that probably shouldn't just be the CISO's decision. Probably a lot of people that need to be involved in that, because it really is an enterprise impact conversation.
To measure the business need against the risk, the CISO shouldn't be making that decision.
Hey, thanks. I appreciate hanging out with you. It's good to see you again.
Great to see you, buddy.
Thanks for listening to this Interview in Action episode. If you found value in this, share it with a peer. It's a great chance to discuss and in some cases, start a mentoring relationship. One way you can support the show is to subscribe and leave us a rating. If you could do that, that would be great. And we want to give a big thanks to our partners who make this possible: Quantum Health, Gordian, Dr. First, CDW, Gozio Health, Artisite, and Zscaler. You can learn more about them by visiting thisweekhealth.com/partners. Thanks for listening. That's all for now.